ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So all the demigods and the other sages who have accompanied Lord Brahma to Kailasha are seeing the beauty of this place called Kailasha. So here it was described. In the 22nd verse it was described, there is a small lake named Alkananda, in which Sati used to take her bath, and that lake is specially auspicious. All the demigods, after seeing the specific beauty of Kailasha hill, were struck with wonder at the great opulence to be found there. So they saw this place of Kailasha and they were struck with the wonder of the opulence of this place, Kailasha. Then they saw a beautiful region which was called Alaka, in the forest called Saugandhika. So in Kailasha there is a forest called Saugandhika. Why it is called Saugandhika? Because it is full of fragrance. So there are abundance of lotus flowers which spread this fragrance, and because of that it is called as Saugandhika. In this Saugandhika forest they saw a place called Alaka. Prabhupada is explaining this Alaka is also called sometimes Alakapuri, but this is different from the place of Kuvera, which is also called Alakapuri, because Alakapuri is not seen from Kailasha. The place of Kuvera cannot be seen from Kailasha, it is far away. Whereas if these devatas they saw Alakapuri, it is this Alakapuri which is in the Saugandhika forest. So that is Prabhupada is explaining. Then they also saw two rivers, Sarita, it is said here. Sarita means rivers. Nanda and Alkananda. These rivers are specially very sanctified. Why? Because just like Ganga emanates from the lotus feet of the Lord, similarly these two rivers, Nanda and Alkananda, they are sanctified by the lotus feet of Lord Govinda. So these two rivers are considered to be very auspicious because they are touched by the lotus feet of the Lord. In this sacred river, Maitra Rishi is explaining to Vidura, what happens, the celestial damsels, the apsaras, they come down to this river along with their husbands. They get down from their airplanes and they take bath in these rivers, sprinkling water on their husbands. So, it is explained here that they come down to this river after enjoying sex pleasure. And it is also described here, Rati Karshitaha. After enjoyment, that sex pleasure, it decreases. They are morose. After enjoying that sexual pleasure, they come down and they find themselves very impure because of these lowly thoughts, this kind of bodily enjoyment. After falling prey to this lower enjoyment, the devatas who are supposed to be in sattva guna, when they fall to this kind of pleasure, they also become very morose. And in order to purify themselves, they come down to this river and they take bath to become freed from this kind of impurities. So this is being explained here. Very important thing which Prabhupada is mentioning here is, and which this verse is explaining, is the nature of material enjoyment, nature of this sex pleasure. The nature of this sex pleasure is that it is a momentary pleasure, and after enjoying this pleasure, they become morose. It is not that after enjoying this pleasure, they become very happy. In anticipation of this pleasure, one works hard and tries to enjoy this pleasure. But later on, once this momentary pleasure is finished, vanquished, a person, if he is saintly, if he is trying to progress in spiritual life, if he is in sattva guna, he becomes morose. So actually we should analyze this. Is this the pleasure which is meant for me? If the nature of this pleasure is that after enjoying I become morose, I will not be happy. I enjoy to become happy. But the constitution of this pleasure is so, it will make you unhappy. Should we indulge in this pleasure? See, this is what we should think about. But then we may wonder what to do. The senses are very strong. Isn't it? And Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, any wandering senses can drag the mind. So if we analyze this, whatever is given in Bhagavad Gita, it will help us to control our mind and senses. Very important things. Devotees should learn this. Somehow or other, we have to engage our mind and senses and keep them away from sensual enjoyment. Somehow or other. That is why Rupa Goswami has said, Yena kena prakarena manaha Krishna nivasyet. Somehow or other, pull your mind to engage in service of the Lord. So, Bhagavad Gita explains about what happens if our mind focuses on sense objects. Sometimes we cannot understand how this cycle works. It is very important to note that. If you do not switch on the fan, it is very easy. It is not rotating at all. You switch on the fan and then mechanically you try to stop it with your hand. It will not work. That force and momentum is there. There is another way. You have to switch it off. When you switch it off, because it was running for some time, momentum will be there. But rest assured, it will stop. So where to switch it off, you have to learn. That is very important. This is one of the biggest problems for brahmacharis. Anybody, not only the brahmacharis, even grahasthas. It is not that sometimes devotees think that I will be able to solve my problem if I become grahastha. It is not. You can ask any grahastha. Is your problem of sex life solved? And if they give that yes, it is completely solved. No. Grahastha life is a regulation. But it is not solution to stopping these desires. There are cases we find even in devotees community. Grahastha male running away with another's wife. So what happened? Not satisfied with his own wife, and then he is thinking there is some different pleasure available in another woman. What is the different pleasure available? What is the different pleasure available in different women? They cannot understand this. So, it is not a solution. It only regulates a person. Solution is Krishna consciousness. Two things are very important. Try not to put your senses, that means refrain your senses towards sensual enjoyment. This is one work, one tapasya you have to do. Second is positively engage in service of the Lord. Little force you have to do. How? You have to read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, the spiritual literatures, which will equip your mind not to unnecessarily get dragged towards sensual enjoyment. And at the same time, avoid certain things which will otherwise, even if you are Vidwan, your senses will be pulled. Vedic literature says, do not sit alone with a woman. Similarly, woman is advised not to sit alone with any other man apart from husband. Husband is advised not to sit with any other woman. Vedas are even saying, not even with your daughter, not even with your mother. Balvan indriya gramam vidwan api karshati. The senses are so strong, they can pull away the mind even of a person of discrimination, vidwan. Never be overconfident. Similarly, Grahastha should not think, anyway I am married man, does not matter. I can preach alone to a woman, let the woman come. No. We have to be very careful. Anybody, we are all sadhakas, whether brahmachari or grahastha. Isn't it? So very simple advice, do not take a woman to your cabin and preach to them. Can we not avoid this? Sit in an open place. Very simple. Otherwise, mind is so strong. You see. If a woman is approaching you for some philosophical understanding or anything like that, it is always better for a brahmachari or even for a grahastha if the woman is externally young and beautiful, to better avoid. Give them the book, read Srila Prabhupada's book. Not that every day you come, I will answer your questions. I remember we used to have a counter in our Bangalore and I used to sit there, your questions answered. And many Matajis would come. And sometimes when they come and when I find that first time they have come, I may preach something. When I find that they have started coming regularly and once more, then I will direct them to some Mataji and say, better you go and because if you are not alert in your spiritual life, you want to fall prey, then who can save you? Krishna can save you when you want to be saved and you also take precaution. And when we are not ready to take precaution, who can save you? You are holding on to a tree and saying, tree is not leaving me. You leave your hand from the tree. Isn't it? So this much at least we have to do. Then Krishna will give you strength. You take precaution. Isn't it? Because this, what works is dhyayate vishayam pumsaha sangasteshu pajayate. It is a fact. Your mind, if it focuses on some sense object, moment you think, oh, this girl is very beautiful, or if a woman is thinking this boy is very beautiful, finished. Dhyayate, your mind is contemplating on that subject matter. Isn't it? Then she will write you a message in the WhatsApp, Prabhu, your class was very nice, wonderful, keep giving these classes. Today you sang very nicely, Prabhu. And then devotee will write, yeah, you also sing very nicely, you sing in this tune, I will send you Endra Prabhu's tune, you can sing in this tune. And this interaction will begin like that and gone. Poor brahmachari will become dragged away from spiritual life. Isn't it? So, dhyayate vishayan pumsaha. This philosophy has to be understood. It is a science which is given. So, if you avoid at this point, mind not getting absorbed in any such things. Very simple. If your mind is absorbed somewhere else, even if a beautiful woman or somebody is passing, you will not notice. When your mind is focused, then only you will notice. You are looking for material beauty, then you are looking. If your mind is absorbed in Krishna and you are passing by a road, so many beautiful women will be passing. You are not bothered. Isn't it? So, this is very important. Right at the beginning, you have to curtail. Once you have entered the process, then to control is very difficult. This we will have to learn. It is just like the same fan running, and then you try to stop, your hand will get cut. It will not stop. So at this point you have to curtail. Do not contemplate on sense object. But this alone will not give you freedom. Fully your mind and senses should be engaged in service of the Lord. Then Maya will not disturb you. Your senses are already engaged. When you are coming to the temple, have a look at the beauty of the Lord. Try to appreciate the beauty of the deities in the temple. What is their so-called beauty in the material world? Isn't it? We should contemplate this. Today somebody is looking beautiful. After 10 years or 12 years, she will look like my grandmother. Where is that beauty? What is that beauty? We become so attracted. Isn't it? So, this is how we have to learn to restrain our senses. And as I said, mind should be overflowing with desires to serve the Lord. Making plans, different plans, how I should do my service more and more better way. Isn't it? Prabhupada says that when your mind is overflowing, just like when the river is overflowing with water, like that our mind has to overflow with desires how to do my services properly. Then this will not disturb you. So, these are very interesting things to understand. What happens is, in science it is explained, when a person has sex, there is some release of chemical in the brain. You can see this. It's a fact. The more you release that chemical, the more you become habituated. It is a habit which is formed in your subtle body. And let us say you have that enjoyment. After a few days again that craving will start. And then your mind is again going in that direction. Again you indulge in that activity. Again there is a chemical release. After that you definitely feel very morose, very sorry, all those things. Isn't it? Somehow or other, if you can starve your mind, break this cycle, you will find a different kind of happiness altogether. Even, and if your mind is engaged in Krishna consciousness, then definitely there is no greater happiness than that. But even starving your mind of this momentary pleasure, it will break that cycle of your dependence on that pleasure. And you have to maintain that. That is important. So, how do you philosophically understand? Prabhupada explains very nicely. Prabhupada says, according to the scriptures, if you understand this fact, you are enjoying your own blood. Just try to imagine actually. What we are discharging, the semen, what is it? It is made from the finest of the food you are eating. You see? The finest of the food makes blood. converts into blood. All other rotten things are sent out from the body as garbage. We pass away stool, urine, all kind of those things we send it out. The finest of the food we eat accumulates and makes blood in the body. And the finest of the blood is utilized to make one drop of semen. Just understand the potency. What is the strength of that semen? That one drop of semen carries life. It can carry the living entity. And we are thinking, let us just discharge it like that. Just imagine. Isn't it? And you can see how not only the mind, body becomes weak. So if it was indefinite without any problem, why the body is having weakness? Isn't it? So these nonsense scientists, they cannot understand. They are thinking, no, it is something extra like a urine, it has to be discharged. What is this nonsense? Isn't it? So this is called, if actually brahmachari learns this science, it becomes urdhava. It will not go down. Slowly it will rise to the brain. That finer tissues are very, very important to advance in spiritual life. With dull head, you cannot become Krishna conscious. You cannot grasp anything in Krishna consciousness. So this is what we have to understand. It is, when I am trying to enjoy, it is chewing my own blood. The example is given of a camel. The camel is chewing thorns and he is thinking there is some taste in the thorn. Actually, there is no taste in the thorn. There is no taste in the thorn. Your blood is, that camel's blood is mixing with the thorn and it is tasting. So I am thinking there is taste in that object. There is no taste in the object. There is no taste in that object. The taste is, we are shedding our own blood and trying to think I am enjoying. So, this is what we have to understand. That is why Prahlad Maharaj calls it Yan Maithunadi Grahamedi Sukham Hi Tuchham. Most insignificant pleasure. Grahamedi Sukham Hi Tuchham. It is most insignificant. And if one is habituated to this, he cannot enjoy spiritual pleasure at all. No question that he can enjoy. Two things do not go together. Materially we are enjoying and we are thinking spiritually I will enjoy. It's not possible. Isn't it? So what is required is a strong determination, strong desire to advance in spiritual life and get rid of this nonsense pleasure. Then Krishna will help you. It is said God helps those who help themselves. It is not that suddenly God one day will give you realization. We have to strive. We have to be determined. We have to do. Then the Lord will give us strength. There is no doubt about it. And do not worry. Sometimes we will fall down. Prabhupada says, just like the child is learning to walk. He has a tendency to walk. He is learning to walk, he will fall down. Not that father will reject him at that time. Father will again pick him up and tell him, walk. But walking he has to do. Father will not carry him that you walk. Father will hold his hand. Yes. Hold my hand and walk. So that walking exercise we have. Our endeavor we have. So I'll read some, just 2 minutes. I'll read a very beautiful quotes of Prabhupada. The whole problem is sex life. Yan maithunadi grahamedi sukham hi tucham. Tucham means insignificant. One may think sex is the greatest platform of happiness, but actually that happiness is insignificant. Grahamedi sukham hi tucham means insignificant. And Prabhupada is adding, in fact, sex life is a source of distress. Not only it is insignificant, it is a source of distress. All mental distress, bodily distress, your whole body will be finished. You can imagine person who is discharging semen indiscriminately. Even science says his whole nervous system, everything will be spoiled fully. Becomes so weak, he will fall prey to all kinds of diseases. So this is a very important dhatu in our body. It has to be preserved and utilized only when it is required, absolutely required. That is important. We have so many problems because of sex life. Then in the next, this is one remembrance by one devotee. The last verses of Nectar of Instruction says, Vaikunthat janito vara madhupuri tatrapi rasotsvad. Greater than Vaikuntha is Mathura Mandala. Greater than that is Vrindavan, where the Rasa dance takes place. Greater than Vrindavan is Govardhan, and in Govardhan, Radha Kund is the best place. Where is a knowledgeable person who will not serve the holy place called Radha Kunda? So another important thing which Prabhupada talks about in today's verse is, without understanding the importance of devotional service, somebody goes to a pilgrimage place, like a karmi. There is no difference. Karmi is going only to give up his sinful reactions, papa karma he wants to wash off in Ganga or Yamuna. That is not the idea of a devotee. He does not require to travel from one holy place to another, because all holy places are at the lotus feet of the Lord. He is called Tirthapada, where all tirthas are situated. Moreover, another meaning of Tirthapada is the great devotees are called Tirthapadas because they have taken shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord. And those devotees, wherever they reside, wherever they go, that is Tirtha. So if we serve the Supreme Lord, if we serve such great personalities, we don't require to travel to different holy places to get the benefit of that holy places. What is the benefit people are thinking about? I will get purified of my sins. Isn't it? So, sometimes what happened, when Prabhupada wrote this purport, some neophyte devotees, they started thinking, let me go and reside in Radhakund. This exactly happened. And Prabhupada is chastising those neophyte devotees. So when that book came out, Prabhupada's secretaries complained that devotees wanted to give up distributing book to stay in Radhakund. Prabhupada said, just see the rascals. They have not followed the first verse of Upadeshamrita and they are jumping to the 11th verse. If Upadeshamrita you are reading and you want to go and stay in Radhakund, have you followed the first verse of Nectar of Instruction? First you follow that, and when you become qualified by following the first verse and other verses, then you go and reside in Radhakund. Isn't it? See how imitations we do. What is that first verse of You have to control your senses, isn't it? So, Vacho Vegam, that one. So the first verse is Vacho Vegam, Manasah Krodha Vegam, Jifha Vegam, Udara Upastha Vegam. You have to control your genitals. Have you controlled? Have you controlled your all these Vegas? And if you have controlled, then you can go and reside in Radha Kund. Otherwise, it will be simply imitation. Prabhupada is saying it is called Markata Vairagya. One who controls the pushes of the senses is fit to be guru and make disciples everywhere. Sarvam apim prithvim sa shishya. Prabhupada said, let them control their senses first. Then they can think of Radha Kund. Their mentality is called Markat Vairagya, renunciation of monkeys. Monkeys also live in the forest, eating only fruits and leaves. But what are they thinking? Where is she monkey? The desire to give up one's service and go to Radha Kund is simply monkey business, Prabhupada said. Another one last quote I'll read. Prabhupada, don't think that sex is happiness. It is less in dog's life and that happiness in human life. No. The sex pleasure in hog's body, dog's body, man's body, it is the same. We have several times informed, if you put something eatable in golden pot, iron pot, taste will not change. The taste is the same. But it is your concoction only that if I put in the golden pot, taste will change. That is misconception. That's not a fact. So we are trying to be advanced, civilized for changing the pot, that's all. That will not change the quality. The quality will go on. So we have to go beyond the quality of eating, sleeping, sex life and defense. That is necessary so far body is concerned. But that is being done by the dogs and cats and hogs. We have to go further. This is Bhagavata Dharma. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki Vishnu Guru Srila Prabhupada ki